Hello everyone, and welcome back to my YouTube video. In this video, I'm going to be showing you how I set up collections. Collections for most people include movies they watch, videos or TV shows that they have, or maybe things that they own. This first page that I'm going to be doing is going to be a pin review or a pin collection. I'm calling it a review because I wanted to take stock of the pins that I had, or throughout the year of the pins that I got, and kind of keep track of the ones that I really liked and the other ones that I really just didn't think were worth it. So in this setup, what you're seeing me do here is going through and putting in several columns that are going to be places where I can evaluate these pins. And so some of the things that I'll be looking at are obviously going to be the name of the pin, sizes of the pin that they have, color of the pin, if they are waterproof, and then how they're smudging, because since you're working in a bullet journal, oftentimes I feel like you end up getting, whether your hand moves over it or your ruler, or if you're going back over it with markers, whether that's Tombow or the MIDI mild liners, then you just want to know what kind of quality you're getting in case you're doing something really important that you just really don't want any smudges on. The other thing I'll be looking at is ghosting, so flipping the page over and evaluating the other side to see how bad is it. Then I also wanted to look at smoothness of the pen whenever writing, how the ink flowed, lifespan of the pen, because certainly some of these pens are pretty expensive, and so if you're going to spend a lot on a pen, you want to know that it's going to last for a long time. And then lastly, of course, just the enjoyment, and then any side notes that I have about the pen. The next page that I'm looking at here is going to be my book list for 2018. And some people will use this book list where they'll make a list of the books that they want to read. Other people use book lists just as a record of the books that they have read. I kind of tend to do a little bit of both. And I have simplified my book list from last year. Last year I had columns that included author and name of the title and sort of a review of it. And this year I'm just going more with a simple layout that'll end up just being a list, a little bit more minimalistic, as you might think. And so I'm just going to put the name of the book itself and then the author on there, and if I want to put side notes on there, I certainly can. It's just going to be a little bit more free form. And just finished up that page putting in the book that I'm currently reading, which is Jules Verne's 20,000 Leagues Under the Sea. This next page, as you might be already guessing, is going to be a movies list for 2018, and I'm doing a pretty simple layout for this one where I'm just doing the movie reel on the left hand side, and then I'll just do a list down the page of the movies that we see throughout the year. Again, this year I have gone a little bit more simple because last year I did the movie reel, but I did it horizontally, going across the page in rows, and I put the name of the movie that we saw in the actual movie reel box. And we go and see a decent number of movies, but it's not like we're movie critics and we're going all the time. So I did feel like it was a waste of time to repeat that layout, and that's why I went with this more minimalistic layout. I was a little bit disappointed during this layout in one of my pins because I did use my Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pen to initially do the lineup, but filling in the boxes I went to a thicker, bolder line using one of my Uniball fine liners, and about halfway through it seemed like it started to die on me, and it's pretty much a brand new pen, so I was slightly disappointed in that, so I'm going to have to keep an eye on that for those pins, and I'll let you know if those pens typically don't seem to last as long, because definitely not worth purchasing if that's going to be the case. I did finish up filling in those lines using my Tombow Pit Artist pen with the brush head, which really did end up making it go pretty fast. I also just added a very simple Movies 2018 title at the top. Because looking at this page, I felt like it was pretty dull looking for me, and so I did go back and add some color with my Tombow dual brush pens to the book list, so that just gave it a little bit of pop of color. And since I haven't read any more books or seen any more movies, that finished that page for me. This next page that I'm going to be doing is going to be a YouTube page for me, so somewhere that I can keep track of the videos that I'm making for you guys, and also the videos that I've uploaded. And then on the right hand page is going to be my YouTube ideas. And the big things that I looked at whenever I set this page up were obviously the video name, as well as the date that I released the video, and then just keeping track of the things that I needed to do, so things that were filmed, edited, and doing my voiceover, as well as uploading the actual video itself. So I recognize that this page is pretty much for me, unless you plan on starting your own YouTube video channel, and if you do, then feel free to use this in your own bullet journal to help you keep up with your filming. And the right hand page is going to be pretty minimalistic, excuse me, and that's just because really it's more of almost like a brain dump, but just specifically for YouTube ideas. But I figured this would be a great place to record any requests that you guys had, as well as ideas that I might come up with throughout the day, walking around, or while I'm doing videos as well. So again, if you do have any requests, go ahead and put those in the comments below, and I would be super excited to try and work on a video that you guys are really wanting to see. So moving on to this next page, I did leave the left-hand page blank on purpose, and part of that reason is because if my YouTube ideas sort of get filled up on that page, then I can just flip over and go to the back page. But what I'm working on right now is this little wheel that's going to be my social media tracker, and I'm not going to be tracking too many things because obviously I don't have too many places that I'm on social media. So YouTube subscribers, the number of videos that I release per month, and then just the number of Instagram followers that I have. I've seen several people using these circular setups for like cleaning or birthdays, or even as a monthly calendar, and so I really wanted to give it a try myself. I really like how it turned out in the end. This next page that I'm going to be doing is going to be a household chores list, and I just thought that this would be a good place to maybe have an overarching sort of list that I could look at for whenever I had some free time or was looking for something to do. And this way I don't end up cleaning the windows every single time I have a free moment, or just doing the very similar things that I do. I can kind of look at what I have done or what really needs to be done in case I've sort of neglected an area of cleaning, which I think is a pretty common thing that people do because we don't really like to clean. I've set this up in a January through December setup with 2 little boxes for each. That way most of the things that are sort of really need a deep cleaning usually only need it maybe once or twice a month. At least for me, that's the case. So if you need more, you can always extend those number of boxes out for your own bullet journal setup. Once I had January through December set up, I went through the household chores that I had, and I actually went and made a list of these in one of the little notebooks that I had gotten as a Christmas present, to just make a list of the things and kind of look at them objectively and say, okay, how often am I going to clean these things truly? And I think the best way to do this is to actually go by room in your house. So starting with the kitchen, you can look at the oven, the stovetop, the kitchen sink, the dishwasher, the refrigerator, your cabinets, and just go through your house in that manner, and kind of, even if you have to walk through your house, and take a little scratch pad with you and look around and go, okay, what do I need to clean? And once you have your list, then you can kind of look at it and go, okay, how often do I need to go through and clean these things? And sometimes it may be more of a realistic, how often are you going to get time to clean these things, rather than how often should you really clean these things. And maybe you make this as a goal for yourself of, you're going to try and really get to these things like you've got it planned, and that way that'll help you to keep track and see how you're doing. As you can see, the way that I went ahead and set the rest of this up is using those little boxes and just putting them down on the months that I wanted to get it done. And I did use my brain dump as well, just thinking about how I wanted to set it up, and also how I wanted to, color in the boxes or fill those in. And the last part here is I just went along the top with one of my gray Tombow markers and wrote in my household chore list for 2018, and then I went back through and put my markers down that I have on the side. So I did think that these were more of a to-do list, and flipping back, since this is about collections, I did add in a collection sticker, and I'll just show you those pages where I have the collections of pin that I have my book list collections, and my movies of 2018 collections. And then the last page where I added the pink dot, because this is a tracker, and so that's my social media tracker. So I hope that overall you guys really enjoyed this video, and you'll give me a thumbs up and subscribe. Thanks.